Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. In today's special episode, we get to hear from two special guests. Enes Kanter Freedom, NBA basketball player turned human rights advocate, and Jeff King, president of International Christian Concern. We got the chance to sit down with them this week in the nation's capital at the International Religious Freedom Summit 2022. Enes Kanter Freedom, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
You've had quite a journey, right, from the NBA, and now you're seen as a human rights activist. So to begin, what's the biggest response you've had, both negative and positive?
Well, I think the more positive than negative. I mean, obviously, when you talk about some of the uncomfortable situations that are happening in our world, and when the organization you spend 11 years, you spend your whole life with, that got tied up billions of dollars. Unfortunately, they're not going to like that a lot. But you know what? This is bigger than basketball. This is bigger than NBA, and this is bigger than myself. So I believe what I'm standing up for is worth it.
When you kind of started on your journey of, say, activism, your managers warned you not to, right? They're like, you have all these deals with Nike, you can't mention China. So what, kept you going?
The first day I started to talk about the problems that are happening in China, my agent actually warned me and say, listen, I don't work for the NBA, I work for you. So if you don't say a word ever again, people are probably going to forget about this, and you can go out there and say you were not educated enough. You maybe want to take your tweet down, and you might want to say sorry, then you'll be good. But if you say another word, you are not going to get another contract after this. This is it. This is your last year. And I was like, I cannot believe that my literally agent telling me, saying that this is it, it's over, just because I talk about the issues. He said all the owners, players, organizations, and NBA is gonna act like they care about the social justice, but you're not getting another contract. I was like, you know what? It's okay. Because I was seeing the hypocrisy of not just in NBA, but you see Hollywood, you see how China is taking over Wall Street, academias, big tech, Congress, local Congress. And I was like, someone has to open this door to let everyone know what's going on.
So given all these areas, say Hollywood, Wall Street, massive companies, NBA, how come you found the courage to really stand up?
Well, because when I was in Turkey, unfortunately, some of the things that I talk about, my family was really affected. My dad was in jail. They had a really, I don't want to go into details, but they had a very rough time in Turkey. And I remember my mom told me, stand up for what you believe in, even if it means sacrificing everything. So I was like, I understand money, amazing, cool, endorsement deals, shoe sales, jersey sales is amazing, but is it really more important than people's lives? I don't think so. So I'm like, this is bigger than myself. I know at the end I might be able to play another 5-6 years, but I can't be going to sleep in peace when I know other side of the ocean people are losing their loved ones and losing their lives. So this is way bigger than that. So I don't have any regrets.
When it comes to the Chinese Communist Party, China right now, anyone of faith, really any faith, right? Muslims, Christians, all these other spiritual disciplines, they really can't practice their faith. So the State Department has designated them a country of particular concern since 1999, and the situation hasn't really changed. So going forward, do you see any changes happening for the good?
Not with this mentality. Not with this world leaders, the leaders in West only condemning about what's going on. I don't want to hear condemning. I don't want to hear diplomatic boycott. I don't want to hear, oh yeah, there are human rights violations are happening in China. And so, like, what are you doing to take some real actions? We don't need condemning. We have enough condemning till this year. Like, it's 2022. People are so sick of hearing, oh yeah, we are condemning about what's going on, although human rights violations are happening in China. Whenever I sit down with a world leader or with a congressman, with a senator, I'm like, I need you to take some actions because enough is enough. While you're condemning, there are people are dying over there. So that's why we started to put legislation out there, bills out there to stop this genocide.
On that note, what are some of the real actions that can be implemented that maybe, say, average people could help?
Well, the average people, everyone asks me this question. I don't have an NBA platform. I don't have millions of followers. What can I do? It's so simple. When you pick up an item, it says made in China, put it down. That is the least you can do. That is the first thing you can do. And then later on, educate yourself. So you can start educating your family, your street, your neighborhood, and then your teammates, your classmates, or whoever you are. I think before you talk, you definitely sit down and educate yourself first so you can educate others. But the least you can do, you see made in China, put it down.
When it comes to your shoes that have artwork and say the genocide, the organ harvesting, were you expecting such a big response to them?
Well, I remember when I was a kid, like I said, whenever I watched an NBA game, the first thing I was watching was the shoes. What color they are, what brand it is, if they're comfortable. The next day I was going to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I want these shoes. I wanted to create these shoes to inspire kids, young generations, because if you want to have a better and brighter future, we have to educate our kids. So now, whenever I remember when I play basketball, whenever I go to a different arena, they did not care about the game. They were focusing on which shoes I'm going to wear next. So that's why. And I also want to actually put the shoes in an auction in one day, actually collect the money and give it back to the community.
And you mentioned earlier this year how all the COVID lockdowns in Shanghai kind of really brought to light the extreme measures the Chinese Communist Party does, and that you've been talking about for years. But do you see maybe a tide shifting and people recognizing that threat?
I think more and more every year, people are recognizing what's going on. Whenever I go on social media or whenever I go on these websites, people finally, outside of China, obviously, talking about some real problems, how Chinese government treated, like Shanghai and other stuff, Beijing, their people and their animals too, how Chinese government abusing their people, and it's unacceptable. So I feel like, first of all, we need to wake people up from the outside so we can put pressure to people from the inside, But I am very hopeful for the future. But we just need to push these lawmakers to take some actions.
Bouncing off the lockdowns that really brought to light issues with the supply chains, from the economic standpoint, there's always kind of been that issue, right? People look at China, they're like world's second largest economy, we need the money, kind of sidestepping, turning a blind eye to human rights. Do you see a change happening there where companies maybe have to hold the Chinese regime accountable?
Well, that's the one thing that breaks my heart the most. Whenever I see a Muslim country with a Muslim leader, which they love to call themselves the leader of the Muslim world, they talk about all the problems that are happening around the world. But when it comes to one specific topic, China, they stay silent because of the economy they have, because of billions of dollars are involved, because of the road that China is building. But is it really more important than the 3-4 million people are getting killed or tortured or raped every day? So sit down and think about it. I think if we put more pressure, the people are going to finally start to understand what's right and what's wrong.
So since the Holocaust especially, there's been the saying never again, right? And a lot of human rights activists are mentioning it seems to keep happening. So what will it really take so that never again really is never again?
I feel like the whole world needs to come together. United Nations needs to come together. Unfortunately, they kind of run by China. G7 needs to come together. And all the democratic countries needs to come together and say enough is enough. And I'm not just talking about China. I'm talking about all the dictatorships around the world. We might not feel it here, but on the other side of the world, people are having their toughest time in their life because of the authoritarianism is on the rise in our time. So we have to do something about it. We have to take some immediate actions.
And any last words you'd like to add?
Well, especially kids out there, young generation out there watching this is like always stand up for what you believe in, even if it means sacrificing everything, because what you're doing is way bigger than, standing up for innocent people is way bigger than everything that you can ever gain from materialistic world. But do what's right.
I think you're a wonderful example of that. So thank you so much.
That. Thank you, Tiffany.
That was Enes Kanter Freedom, NBA basketball player turned human rights advocate. And for those watching our full episode, joining us after the break, Jeff King, president of International Christian Concern. He touches on the biggest differences between the U.S. and China when it comes to human rights. Our full episode can be watched on our partner platform, Apok TV. To sign up, click the link down below. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer, and see you soon.